guys. I hope you all had an amazing long weekend and are enjoying the break in the humidity. And don't worry, it'll be warm again by the weekend. But I just wanted to, pop on here and say hi like I do every Wednesday at 6. And we just did this past Saturday the first giveaway for the $1,000, which was awesome. So a fellow named Brian Cook won it in Collingwood. So we went and knocked on Brian's door, and it was kind of funny because I could hear them talking inside when we went up and we were doing a live there. And she told me after that she was telling him to like put some clothes on because he had pajamas on. Because as we were doing the live, she realized she saw her house number, and so she's like, "Put some clothes on, put some clothes on. What are you doing?" He's like, "What do you mean?" Because he didn't even know he was nominated. So it was cute. So Brian won, and he was nominated actually by his girlfriend. So you can nominate anybody. So we weren't, hi Justin. We weren't just doing it once, we're doing it every single month. So all of August, you can enter whoever you like for the giveaway, and they don't have to. I know a lot of people thought like they have to have done something crazy, like they made 1,000 masks and they donated all the money to charity or whatever, which is awesome. But it could be for anything. It could just be for being a great neighbor, for being a good sister, for being a supportive friend or whatever. It doesn't have to be for some, award winning thing, okay? Hi, Scotty. Happy live. So, yeah, that was fun to give away the first $1,000. Scotty was actually there. He was the photographer. Okay, so we are first going to start with a question. Hi, Scotty. So from Max and Jeanette from Snow Valley, and they said, oh, by the way, for anybody who's never watched this before, basically I go through questions and I do a real estate update and I do some happy news. So these are people that wrote in between last week's live and this week. If you want to write a question, you can just write in the comments, or if you're more shy or whatever, you can write between now and next week and I'll answer next week. If I get too many, I will just email you the answer or call or text, okay? Hi, Linda. Linda's in the UK. I actually have some UK stuff today, Linda, unless you're in LA right now, but I have some UK stuff. Or you were in Mexico, but anyways. Okay, so Max and Jeanette from Snow Valley said, we have 2 grown daughters, both of whom are renting. We would love to help them out and give them each a property in our names and give them the down payment and eventually add their names. But being retired, we can't afford it on paper and are also short on the down payment. Do you think we should wait until we can do both or just buy one a home until the younger one, hers, is coming? So thank you, Max and Jeanette, for writing in. I don't know how young. You said that they're both older, so assuming they're both in their 20s or 30s. I personally wouldn't buy one now and say, oh, you get yours in 8 years, because I mean, I don't have siblings in that sense. I grew up with them, but I would imagine that if the ones went up a lot in the 8 years, then the other one's like, well, I didn't get that equity that it went up. They might fight or whatever. I would just buy the one, and I would buy it either that they just live together and they share the kitchen, or that there's 2 kitchens and they have their own separate space. So that's personally what I would do, as opposed to making the one wait. But I think it's super generous that you're doing that. So that's very nice of you. They're very lucky and hopefully grateful young ladies. So thank you for writing in. So let's see. Oh, so it's an England thing, Linda. Hi, Donna. So there's a little girl in England for Linda. And she was 6, and when she first painted a picture, like actually painted, not like crayons or whatever, for one of her grandparents who had cancer. And she thought it would cheer them up, and her mom is a teacher, and she thought it was really good, so she decided to put it in an auction, for cancer, and all the money went towards cancer research, and her picture actually raised 9,600 pounds, which is over 16,500 Canadian dollars, so a 6-year-old, and it was all given, of course, to charity. And then it was such a popular painting in the auction that they made 100 prints of the painting. And now she's painted a bunch. She's made over $90,000, but she's given every single dollar or pound in their eyes or whatever to charity. So again, I just like to mix happy news in with real estate stats. So that's what happened in England. And the little girl's name is Daisy, which is cute because she only paints pictures that have flowers in it and like landscape and so forth. So I just thought that was cute. They call her like the little Monet. They are mini Monet. Hi, Donna. Um, so that was Daisy. Okay, so we have a question from Megan and Damien in Innisfil. We currently live by Friday Harbor in an older cottage converted to a home that we own. Do you think we should wait to sell it until Friday Harbor is 100% done, or move now while the market's hot? Well, thank you, first of all, Damien and Megan, for writing in. I would just say it depends why you're moving. If you're moving because you're in a 2-bedroom house and you have 4 kids that are not all boys or not all girls and they're driving each other crazy, then I would move and not wait. Because if you just say you're going to wait, you could wait till the GO train goes to Innisfil, and that's like 25 more years. So, I mean, that will obviously increase value there, but that's a long time to wait. So it depends why you're moving. Just on a side note, that GO train, basically they're saying that Innisfil is the size of Mississauga, but currently Innisfil has like 37,000 people or something, and Mississauga has 800,000 people. So they're trying to make it like basically Mississauga, but all done kind of from scratch from that one area. So I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures, but if you look it up, it's like pretty futuristic looking. It looks cool. But yeah, I would just, depending on what the reason, if it's just you guys as a couple, then, you can wait, and will it add tons of value? Not really that much. It'll help, but I mean, so will another house that you will go to will probably move up in value as well. So it just depends why you're moving personally. Okay. Okay. So with sports returning and, like restaurants being open and like inside, not just the patios, and basically parents prepping for schools. I am not a sports person unless it's live and in person. But obviously with sports returning, most athletes are going back to that. But there's one fellow from Quebec, and I'm going to look at his name because otherwise I'm going to say it wrong. Laurent Duvernay Tardif. And he's actually skipping this year and not playing. He was a frontline, I don't know, sports, see frontline? Offensive lineman, not a front line, offensive lineman. And less than a year ago, he was celebrating with his team because they are one that won the Super Bowl. Hi, Pandy. Hi, Lisa. Oops, wrong button. Hi, Renee. So he actually went to Montreal and he graduated med school. So he's decided he's not going back this year to play in the NFL, and he's going to help instead. And he says like he knows there's a lot of things going on safety-wise, and that there's lots of medical professionals that have that they're doing research, but he wants to help out. So I just thought that was awesome from a young athlete, only 29. Instead of going back and going to the game, he decided he's going to stay in Montreal and help instead. So I just thought that was cool and interesting and good for him. Now, a question came in from Jason and Barry. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. It says, I have 2 jobs and know we have some friends in common, but have never met. Okay. I've heard you at many different points had 3 jobs. How did you / do you find the energy for it? And what do you suggest I could do more of to be more productive and get ahead? Thank you, Jason, for asking. I'm not sure who our friends are in common, but it's a small city, so I'm sure we have lots of friends in common, depending on your age. What I'd say to do is, to be honest, I don't notice that I work a lot. Basically, when I stop, then I notice. So if I'm like doing something relaxing, I kind of get really sleepy, just because my body's used to go, go, go. But basically, I think like I'm not above anything, certain things I'll do that people are like, why are you doing that? And I just feel like, why not? If you don't use it, you lose it, as they say. Even if it's just something as silly as taking something to the car that I bought that was heavy. But if you figure out like what your time is worth, so you take how much you made last year and you divide it by the number of months and number of weeks and how many hours you work in a week, and you figure out what your hourly worth is essentially. If, say, for example, it's $25, I just made up that number. Don't be offended if it's higher than that or whatever. And then you're paying somebody, for example, to go pick up stuff from, say, you have a rental property, and you're paying them, Jeff's Junk or something, and you're paying them $800 to go pick up garbage because they charge ludicrous amounts. And in reality, you could just go rent a truck for $30 for the day and then go do a dump run at the Tiffin dump for $30. So $60 and maybe an hour of your time, as opposed to that 800. So just don't do things that, do you know what I mean? Like, if it makes more sense for you to do them, then do them. Lots of people like to jump ahead, and they're like, I want a property manager, I want to have this, I want to have that, and they just want to look good to their friends or on social media or whatever. But if they have humility and do things themselves, one, they'll appreciate the things more that they do, and two, they'll get further ahead because they probably don't have the bank account yet to do that. I'm not saying yourself, but just a lot of people. So I kind of skirted around that, but hopefully that answered your question. And I just like to see like future. I don't like to say like maybe when I'm 80 I'll do that trip, or maybe when I'm 60 I want to do it like pretty much now. So I like to just have that option. So if I'm always working all the time, minus obviously time with friends or family or whatever, I just feel good that I know that I can do it. So that's kind of that. And I really need to start drinking coffee because I feel very cluster brain today. But thank you for asking. Okay, I skipped a page. Okay, so one more thing before. Hi, Yasmin, or Jasmine. I don't know how to say that. Hi, Melissa. Melissa, maybe you can be my coffee today. Good evening. It says love for all and hatred for none. Good evening. Hi, Tyler. Melissa, maybe you can be my coffee because today I'm off. So now I'm gonna be on point. So before I do real estate, I was just going to do one more thing. So with everybody being like quarantining and so forth, it's actually helping our wildlife. So rhinos. I'm just going to say rhinos is easy. They're down. The amount of rhinos poached is down 53% in South Africa. And 1 month this year, they already had no rhino deaths at all, which is the first time in almost a decade, which is awesome. And elephants, the amount of poachers are down 43%. So I thought that was good news. And again, I only like good news. So for real estate world, the Bank of Canada just announced that they're not expecting to raise the interest rate until 2023, approximately. They said 2023, which is amazing because obviously the low interest is helping fuel our economy right now. And so forth. So that is really good. We still have not enough supply for the demand, but the interest rate is definitely helping, one of many factors what's making us have such a strong market. So that is really good. And on a side note, if you want to be a rebel, there is used to be well-known, notorious Hell's Angels house for sale. It's 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, and it's been listed for 9 days. It holds 30 motorcycles in the garage, or 3 cars, depending which way you look at it. And it's been renovated extensively because it had a pipe bomb, which I don't even know what a pipe bomb is, blow up, but it was in 1995. And it blew its windows and the entire street's windows out, and so it got a renovation, and now it has 3 kitchens. It is listed for $2.198. But that is because it's just east of the Distillery District in Toronto. So it makes sense. So if you want to be a little bit of a rebel, you can buy this old Hells Angels meeting house. Hi, Samantha. Oh, I pressed the wrong button, Samantha. I was trying to wave at you. Okay. So in Barrie, in the last 24 hours, there's been 9 new listings. 12 have conditionally sold, and 9 have sold firm, and 12 people have gotten their keys, and 1 canceled. And then that was the last 24 hours. And then in the last 7 days in Barrie, I do all of them, but not all at once because I get bored with numbers. But in the last 7 days, there was 40 new listings. So it's been a busy week. 5 deals fell apart, so it means somebody didn't like their inspection, or didn't get financing, or found another house they like better, or so forth. 41 houses conditionally sold, which is a crazy amount of houses, and 67 sold firm, which is also a crazy amount of houses, but even more so a crazy number is 124 people, or families, not people, got the keys to their houses, so that is great. So I'm sure there's lots of happy people, and I'm sure trying to get a rental truck right now is pretty near impossible. And 6 listings expired and 8 canceled in Barrie. And then for condos, in the last 24 hours, there's been 2 new listings, 2 conditionally sold, 4 sold firm, and 1 family got their keys. And then one more before I do something else. Condos in the last 7 days in Barrie, there's been 17 new listings and 3 deals died, 16 conditionally sold of those condos, 9 of those sold firm, and 22 people got their keys and 2 listings expired. So now we're allowed to do open houses again. And I know back in the day, when they first said no open houses, some people thought like they can't see houses at all. And it didn't mean that. It just meant literally like if you see signs, directional arrows pointing you a certain way, and you don't know who the agent is, you don't know how much the house is, if it's even in your budget, and you go into the property, that was an open house. So that was what stopped. But you could still see houses. Not every seller allowed homes to be, viewed, but most of them did. Depending on the time, obviously, kind of the first 2 weeks was normal. The second 2 weeks was like more people didn't want people to come through, and then it went normal again, then bidding war. So people have always been allowed to show, but so now they're allowed to do the directional signs and to come in again. To be honest, we're not starting them right now. Whether we ever will, I don't know. We're doing Facebook Live, so just like this, but at the property, sometimes on the weekend, sometimes during the week, just because we find, one, it's less people through the home, and then that way if they like it and they ask questions, they can book an actual private showing. We can make sure there's not too many people through the house at once. We can make sure everybody has their mask and gloves and so forth, so it's just easier for us. And we're not getting tire kickers or nosy neighbors. So that is that. So I have another question. This one's from Marco in Cookstown. I get an insurance settlement in September and have my own auto repair business and currently lease a space. Do you think more commercial properties will be coming up for sale? Thank you, Marco, for writing in. I absolutely do think more commercial properties will be coming up for sale. We're still currently lacking on like our freehold, so it means no condo fees, whatever, and we don't have a lot of condos either, but not as few condos as we do detached houses, townhouses, semi-detached houses, and so forth. But commercial properties, I do think we're going to get more because people realize they can work from home more. Maybe they have a business that went under, during COVID, or now they're just doing takeout and they decide not to do something inside, or just the business model doesn't work after COVID, or they want to try something else, or they realize they want to homeschool their kids and they don't want to have a business. There'll just be lots of businesses coming up, as well as landlords that own these commercial buildings. Maybe their tenants haven't been able to pay rent the whole time, and maybe they can't afford to keep it. So more commercial properties will be coming up. So I would definitely, hold tight for that so you can have more of a pick. But thank you, Marco, for writing in. Hi, Jay. Oh, I always press that button when I try and wave. Okay. So deferrals are coming around. So either you did a 3-month deferral or none at all, or a 6 month. So if you did a 3-month, you're already paying your mortgage again. If you're doing a 6-month, it's going to come up soon. So CMHC thought that people will still need more time, that it might not have been enough time and they might be behind and they might be back at work, but not like to the extent that they were before. So what they have suggested is that the amortization, which is like your 20-year or 25-year or whatever, is extended. And so maybe you have 17 years left and they like extend it to 20. So then your payments are less, just to help people until basically they're back to normalcy, more so than right now. And they did a study, CCUA, Canadian Credit Union Association, and 78.7% of lenders said that they would agree to extend the people that had borrowed money from them, that they would extend their amortization and help them out a bit just throughout this time. So that was good news. So Bank of Canada saying that they're not going to up the interest rates till at least 2023. And then these people saying that almost 80% saying that they will extend people's amortization just to help with the blow a bit of the whole pandemic. And then in ESSA, in the last 7 days, there's been 3 new listings. 2 deals have died, 7 conditionally sold, 9 sold firm, And 19 people got keys, which is great, and one listing expired. And then in Innisfil, in the last 7 days, there's been 11 new listings. One deal died, 11 conditionally sold, 26 sold firm, 20 families got keys to their new properties, and 2 listings expired and 5 canceled. So this question came from Curtis in Collingwood. I saw your video on the weekend when you gave that family $1,000. How did they win that, and do you have to be your client to win? Thank you for writing in, Curtis. And the family didn't actually win. The fellow did. Brian won. He was nominated by that girl in the video, which is his partner. So they're not clients of ours. They actually bought a house off somebody else in March, and we didn't know them. They were nominated to enter a contest that we had before. We have a contest every single Friday, and winners are announced on Monday, that we started during COVID, and we call it Friday Cabin Fever Fun. I think something like that. Friday, yeah, that's it. I knew it was some sort of a tongue twister. So they don't have to be our client. They just have to enter. So you could enter somebody. You can't enter yourself, but you could have a friend enter you. You could enter your friend, or so forth, okay? You just have to email a video to info@crippshomes.com and say who you want to win and why. And September 1st, which is midweek for this one, it worked out last week, or last time that it was a Saturday, but midweek we'll go and knock on somebody's door at 9 a.m. or work door, if so is the case, and give them a check for $1,000. So back to happy news. In New Orleans, I think of like Mardi Gras and bachelorettes and music. I don't really think of guns, but they have had a lot of more violence and some fatal, shootings and so forth. So there was a musician there, and he had a bunch of old instruments, and he decided that he'd post something and said, anybody that brings in a gun gets an instrument for free. And so that's what he did. Most of them were trumpets, because that's what he plays mostly. And he was surprised that one was a young lady and the rest were young men. But he was just happy, whether it's somebody thinks they can't do much, like they're like, what can I do with my old trumpets, and how much good is it really going to do? But obviously that could save a lot of people's lives, or help people, or just put them on a new path. And the girl was actually the most excited out of all of them to get an instrument. So I just thought it was a cute idea for that fellow in New Orleans. So thank you for doing that. So Oro, in the last 7 days, there's been 9 new listings. One deal fell apart. They didn't get financing. 9 conditionally sold. 13 sold firm, and then 13 people got the keys. Not the same 13 people, different 13. And families. When I say person, it could be a family of 6, but I only count them as one. 2 deals in Oro fell apart, and 3 expired. And in Springwater, in the last week, which is northwest of Barrie, there was 10 new listings, 8 conditionally sold, 2 sold firm, 9 people got their keys, and 3 listings expired. Random note for you. Blue lobsters are 1 in 200, no, 2 million, not 200 million, 2 million that they'll be born. There was a lady in Ohio that started her shift at Red Lobster, and she saw that there was a blue lobster. So she called her local aquarium and zoo, and they came and picked up the lobster, and the lobster lived happily ever after in its new home. So again, I like happy news. That was happy news. And in Russia, there was a 9-year-old boy. Hi, Kennedy. There was a 9-year-old boy in Russia, and his dog passed away, so he decided to paint a picture, just like we had the other 6-year-old painting pictures, who's now 10. And this 9-year-old decided to paint a picture of his dog that had passed, and his mom posted it, and a lot of people said how great it was. And so he said he'd paint other people pictures in exchange for them donating food or supplies to their local shelter, animal shelter. So now he's done thousands of paintings, and not just in Russia, he's done them in Europe and in North America and so forth. And he just does it all in exchange. So people have to take pictures of the food and stuff that they gave to the shelter. So I just thought that was cute of this little 9-year-old boy. And before I said, Kennedy didn't hear, but before I said about rhinoceri, I don't know if that's a word, rhinos and elephants, that there's less that have been killed. But tigers, not that there's more that's been killed, but there's more tigers now around, so they're endangered. But ever since people have been on lockdown and quarantining, there's been more tigers. So there's these cameras in India that are like high definition cameras, and now they're seeing new tigers they haven't seen before. So that is really good that they're coming back and breeding and so forth. And 70% of the world's tigers, random fact for you, are in India. But they're seeing more in India and Thailand. And this question comes, this person wants to remain anonymous. That's the first time we've ever had that, actually. Hi, Shan. So this person said, I have won your Friday weekly contest before. Am I allowed to keep entering, or are you only allowed to win once? Thank you for asking. You are allowed to win multiple times. You're not limited to once, so feel free to enter this Friday. But that's a good question. Same with the $1,000. She could enter him in again. I mean, I think the likeliness of my team picking the same person again is pretty low. But you could. We don't have like strict rules like official charities or anything. There was two friends, Trinity and Alexis, since kindergarten. And when they were 13, Alexis got, I have to look at it because I forget what it's called, spinal muscular atrophy type 2. And her brother actually has it too, which basically is like a wasting away of her muscles. So her friend, started to make YouTube videos, started to write to Walt Disney's company, since he's not alive, but Disney, and ask for a superhero to have a disability, because her friend now doesn't have any like comics to read or any movies to see where any of the superheroes have disabilities. So she wanted, them to make a movie like that. They didn't ever answer. So she decided to make her own. So she has since published 3 books, and before COVID, she would do fashion fundraisers, like fashion shows that were fundraisers, and she'd speak around at different like high schools and public schools and colleges and so forth. And now because of COVID, she does stuff virtually, but she also promotes people to go after their dreams and, to follow their ambitions and so forth. So I just thought that was really cute. And her company is called We Can't, and then the number 2, We Can. So that is Trinity. Hi, Daniel. I already said hi to Shan, but I'm waving at Shan. This week, don't forget, I haven't told you yet. Sunday at 10:30, I'm going to be at 453 Mooney, which is in Aurelia. And it'll just be listed, and it is in a waterfront community. It's not waterfront though. It's $479. It's 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Has main floor laundry. The furnace and the roof have been done since in the past 3 years. And then at 12, I'm going to be at 74 Melrose, which is in the east end of Barrie, and it is going to be $575. It's also going to be just listed, and it has an in-ground pool. The roof literally was just finished yesterday. So brand new roof. It's got like open concept kitchen, 2 brand new bathrooms, new flooring on both levels. There's 3 bedrooms up and 1 down, and a nice big huge rec room with a gorgeous fireplace. And there's a bar down there too. But that is that. Don't forget to enter whoever you like for the $1,000 giveaway for August. So September 1st, we can go give somebody $1,000. Sorry for my gibberish today. I should probably sleep more. But it is what it is, and I don't drink coffee, so you have to deal with it. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.